Hey, how's it going out there? So I just got done doing the wiring for my new power sticks that I got from YOLOtek. And guys, they're awesome. I've been using them on my boat and I can't wait to get them out on my kayak. So I've got the power ports wired and we're going to talk a little bit about YOLOtek and how I wired these. And guys, it should be informative, so stay tuned. Alright, so you may be asking, well, who is YOLOtek? I'll let you read the website on the about, but it's a pretty cute story how they came up with the name. But YOLO is you only live once. So a lot of you probably already knew that. I didn't snap to it right away. The founder of the company, actually, I asked him what YOLO stood for and he told me. YOLOtek was founded in Kansas City. The owner, Christian, he's a super nice guy. He actually reached out to me and we've talked on the phone. He saw my YouTube channel. He wanted to know some about how I did the green screening and just different things about the audio that I could probably improve on. I had already bought the bundle. I had bought the 53-inch bundle and I bought a 20-inch for the bow also. So I got those at the Bassmaster Classic. I contacted them and they got back to me, and like I say, it was the founder of the company. What these are basically is they turn your navigation light ports into a USB port. And you can see here, you got two USB ports. Now all the conversion is done inside the stick. On the bottom of the stick, you have the where the navigation port pins plug into. That runs up here and it converts it to the 5-volt for the USB in here. Now these have surge protection, over voltage protection. They will protect your expensive equipment that's sitting on here. So the second question you may be asking is, well, what do I need this for? All my equipment has batteries. Well, as you probably know, your batteries don't last very long. And on a kayak, a boat, when you're fishing, you really don't want to be taking time to swap out batteries. With these, you plug it in, you can put your GoPro on looping or whatever type of camera you have. Most cameras nowadays have a looping function, and you can just let it roll. The only thing you have to do is after a fish catch or after a scene that you want to capture is stop the recording, and it will only keep the last 5 minutes or 20 minutes wherever you set that parameter at. I have mine set on 5 minutes, so if I stop the recording, it goes back 5 minutes and I get everything 5 minutes, you know, from there to 5 minutes prior to that. You can set it to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes if you like. I think for fishing though, 5 minutes works out pretty good. And that's on a GoPro. I'm not sure like the TAC cam or some of the other cameras what the options are. You can use that looping function and just leave your camera on all day and you don't have to worry about it. One of the features that's really nice about this, if you wanted to use this for say your iPhone, it comes with a threaded post. You know, these adapters, you can get them for your iPhone or to hold whatever type of equipment you want to put on there. So even further from that, on this particular one, I had an extra ram mount. So the first attachment on the power stick or this, like this 20-inch stick, is for a ram mount. So that is really, really handy, guys. This, if you watch my video on flipping, you notice I had some of the shots where I'm showing the bait going in the water. Well, I'm able to do that because I'm taking this camera and I'm simply, you know, normally it would be facing me, and I'm just turning it over to the water and pointing it down. So that's real handy up on the bow. You can get the shots you want. If you're running a topwater spook or a buzzbait or something like that, and you want to get a topwater blow-up shot, you know, just point the camera around there and you can get that as it comes in. I haven't been able to yet, but I'm working on it. Like I say, I purchased a bundle and a 53-inch stick along with that 20-inch stick. It's telescopic, so that is really handy. And it's also spring-loaded. and you can just latch these down. And guys, I've been bouncing all over the place, have not shaken it to where it has fallen or anything like that. As a matter of fact, go running around with the pros during the marshalling events. It was crazy some of the water we went through, and these held up just fine doing 60, 70 miles an hour. And they do have ratings on them, so you can go to the website and look it up. I think when they're all the way folded down like this, they're good up to 60 miles an hour. So to protect the investment, each stick is going to come with different collars. So depending on the port type you have, you know, this one is plain, it's not threaded. This is the one I use for all my applications. It's a 7/8 inch, and it fits all the Atwood navigation ports. And then you got a larger one. And like I say, those come with it. Easy to install. All you're gonna do is there's a screw on the back here that lines up your navigation port light. You take it off, slide the collar over, put the screw on, and it can't come off. So that's another way to protect your investment. For what they are, they're not expensive, but they're not cheap either. They're $130, or I think they might be $139 now. To me, they're well worth it. If you look at the pros, the people who have the bigger YouTube channels and are serious about filming their fishing adventures, most of them have these sticks on their boat. And as far as I know, there is no substitute for it. You know, I put out a real early video where I made a makeshift of this, but it didn't plug into the nav lights. And that's where I ran across this. Was I was thinking, surely somebody has to make something that just plugs into your navigation port, because you only use it, you know, when it's dark. And sure enough, I ran across YOLOtek. Anybody serious, and I say that, you don't have to be serious, but if you want to make filming a whole lot easier, you want these guys. They're well worth it. So the way I have my stick set up, basically I just put my GoPro on it, and you have to buy a special door that allows you to be able to plug in the charging cord while it's on the stick. When you buy this door, it has a hole in it, no longer makes it waterproof. There's some silicone putty, and it's a lot like earplugs. Those silicone wax earplugs you can buy, and you put that putty around there to seal everything up. But you got to buy that door separately. Then from there, you're just plugging it into one of the 2 USB ports in the bottom. Now, I got a longer cord in case something happens, and I actually had this happen where the navigation port on my boat quit working in the rear, and I got enough cord on here that it'll reach up to the front and plug into where I charge my phone in my console. You don't want to be tripping over that wire. It was a real pain because it got caught up in my life jacket. Where I put my life jacket on and off, I leave it in the seat. I was fighting it all day long. So I got that navigation port fixed real quick. You want a high speed charging cord, so don't go real cheap on that. I have heard that sometimes the GoPros will overheat. And I've also heard a lot of people, what they do is they pull the battery out of them, because you don't need it with this. You're running off the battery on your boat. So if you're having trouble with your GoPro shutting off because you're charging it and recording at the same time, go ahead and take that battery out of there. Here's the silicone putty tablets. You do get one pack of them in the bundle, but you can get those from YOLOtek. You can get a lot of different connectors from YOLOtek. They have Amazon affiliate links for buying the GoPros, for buying the doors, and all sorts of equipment on there. So visit their website. There's quite a bit of information on there. As a matter of fact, there is a ton of information just on how to set up your GoPro. Christian's done videos on it about the looping. That video on the looping is really good, and we'll go over a little bit of that. All right, so let me show you how to set up that looping, at least on a GoPro 8 Black. You can see right there, I've got it on looping mode. If that were, let's set that up to, say, standard. And if I wanted to add looping to it, I would press that, go all the way to the bottom, and there's a plus. Hit that plus. And then from there, you can go to the mode and press that. And you got 3 modes. You got video, you got looping, and you got slow-mo. So for our purposes, we're wanting to go to looping, and then you can pick your 1080, 4K, 720, whatever resolution and frames per second you want. I use the 50 frames per second because I want to keep the electrical noise out of my videos. And then you've got wide on the lens. You can put that to narrow, linear, wide, or super wide. And here's your interval. Here's where you can change it. I've got it set on 5 minutes, but you can go 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes, and then 120 and max, which I don't know what the max is. It probably doesn't shut off. But anyway, I like the 5 minute, because what'll happen when you get done, say you do a loop, you catch a fish and you stop recording, and then you go back and start your recording, you're gonna have 5 1-minute videos for the 5 minutes before you shut the GoPro off. And that's all you're gonna have. So be careful when you're doing that, because if you don't remember to shut it off, you're gonna lose your fish catch. And I have had that happen before. So make sure you get it shut off. That's the one pitfall to using looping. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you while up close is this door. See that hole there? That's where you put your charging cord. Now it's the same as the other ones. You just snap it down and it opens up. There's your battery if you need to change your battery. Highly recommend that. It's gonna make it a whole lot easier on you. Now these doors don't fit quite as good as the factory doors. So if you're wondering about operating your GoPro, especially in a kayak, there's a really cool feature, and it's in the general settings. It's called voice command. So watch this. GoPro, start recording. Okay, and you're recording. But when you get done, GoPro, stop recording. Now, did you hear those 3 beeps? That means that it stopped that recording. GoPro, start recording. And it comes right back on. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, turn off. And that way you can save a little battery if you want to. You know, if you're gonna stop and eat lunch or something like that. So that voice control is very handy, especially on the water. You've also got the app on your phone if you want to use it, and that works rather well also. Now, also with the bundle, you also get a tether, and it's pretty good, but I wanted something a little more substantial, so I went out and got some 1/8" parachute cord and just tied a series of half hitches in there and put a carabiner on it, because you got quite an investment here. You know, that camera's not cheap. Depending on what model you got $200 to $400 wrapped up in that camera. So you don't want it falling off. The other thing I did on the smaller stick, because it's in the front, I actually ran that tether up here and got it tied to the ram stick. So there's nothing wrong with the tether that comes in the bundle. It'll be fine for you. Like I say, I just thought this was a little more convenient for me. And I use elastic on it. Guys, you can get these at Walmart or anywhere. They're just elastic bungees with a ball on them. And they are really handy for stuff like this. You know, I've got them wrapped around my cleats, and then I just take that carabiner, snap it around on the front. I've got one of these on around my fish finder mount. And I just, again, just snap that carabiner on there. Now I got something that's got a little bit of give to it. These on my kayak and my boat. They're handy for a lot of things, and they'll work in an emergency if you got to tie something off. All right, so up here on the bow, I use these teardrop ports for both the bow and the stern. And they've got a nice lid that flips up, and they are threaded. And you can get all these accessories off the YOLOtek website. And again, all you're doing is lining up that screw with the notch in here, sliding it down, and then simply engaging the threads. Now in the stern of the kayak, I did put it towards the rear. I put it over here on the left side because I normally throw over my right shoulder. Again, it's a teardrop. You just flip it up, it's threaded. I did have to run the wiring from back in here all the way through to the front. It was very easy to do on this Bonafide SS127. You cannot get to the connections of this, so I did go ahead and make a solder and heat shrink connection here. As a matter of fact, all but one connection is soldered and heat shrink. So also, I can fold that down. It fits nicely in between there. On the inside of the hatch, where I got my wiring, I used just the automotive trailer connection wire, and I did that because I wanted 4 conductors, and I got a couple extra conductors in the back if I put a micro power pole or something like that back there. That was real handy. Now you got, like I say, I soldered and used heat shrink on there. And up front here, I used a 2-pin flat connector to plug into my electronics pod with my sonar. So all I got to do is plug that in, and that runs power to both my front and my back power stick. Now, as you guys have seen in my previous videos, I got my Garmin Striker 7-inch mounted in my pod, and the batteries are inside here. I did go ahead, because of space, and this is probably not the final installation, I did just add a second 5 amp hour battery. I got this one, which is running the power sticks, and this one that's running the fish finder. I'm probably going to swap that up later, but for now they fit in the pod rather well, and they're both 5 amp hour. And if you're wondering, I turned both the sticks on and had them recording and stuck a meter in series, pulled that fuse out and stuck a meter in there. So running at 1080, I was at 0.79 amps with both of them. With a 5 amp hour battery, I should be able to get at least 4 hours, which for me, 4 hours in the seat of that kayak's doing pretty good. About the same with the fish finder. So I've got about 4 hours of capacity the way I sit now until I get some better batteries. So guys, yes, I will agree. I'm very spoiled. Loving this new kayak. Have the same setup on my boat with the front and the rear. And life should be a whole lot easier. So guys, always be recording, as YOLOtek's motto is. Have fun with this. I hope this video helped you, and we'll see you on the next one. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. Let's get out on the water and have a great day.